Every nation carries whispers of the powerful, but in the tropical kingdom of Iothra, the shadows behind the palace walls grew thicker than the monsoon clouds that blanketed the land. What the public saw were grand processions, golden spires, and a lineage that projected purity and divine right. But beneath the polished rituals lay secrets so unsettling that generations of kings, queens, and court officials dedicated their lives to burying them. From forbidden heirs to vanishing royals, the monarchy of Iothra became a master at rewriting history. Yet fragments of truth survived, scattered like broken shards waiting to be pieced together. Iothra's chronicles always described the royal bloodline as unbroken and blessed, but early travelers recorded contradictions. References to mysterious lost prince, a child allegedly carried away during a palace fire 2 centuries ago. Official records dismiss the event as fabrication, yet oral traditions across rural provinces mention a young boy rescued by monks, raised in secrecy, and later executed when the truth surfaced. Though the palace erased every detail, the persistent retellings kept this forbidden branch of the family tree alive in whispers, raising questions about succession and legitimacy of the monarchy hoped the world would forget. One of the most suppressed stories involved Queen Suriawedi, celebrated publicly as a symbol of grace. Yet hidden archives describe her as a formidable strategist locked in a quiet war with the king's advisors. According to handwritten letters found decades later, she orchestrated alliances with foreign merchants to gain leverage over the monarch himself. When her influence became too threatening, palace historians rebranded her image, replacing records of political maneuvering with fabricated accounts of a passive, obedient queen. Her true power was buried so deeply that generations remembered only half a woman, the version the monarchy permitted. But perhaps the most dangerous scandal was the so-called Velvet Coup, a conspiracy orchestrated by high-ranking nobles who believed the king had become too enchanted by foreign ideologies. Unlike bloody uprisings, this coup unfolded silently. Documents destroyed, alliances shattered, loyalists replaced in the dead of night. The royal family later rewrote the event as a peaceful transition to council, but diaries smuggled out of the palace reveal stories of relatives exiled, children taken from their parents, and entire branches of the nobility disappearing without public explanation. It was the quietness of the purge that made it unforgettable. At the heart of Iothra's darkest centuries stood Prince Wachin, a charismatic heir beloved across the kingdom. His sudden disappearance at age 23 was officially explained as a spiritual retreat, but elders along the river villages whispered a different tale. They claimed he had uncovered a corruption ring involving palace treasurers skimming foreign tribute. When he threatened to expose the scheme, he became a liability. Local fishermen tell stories of royal barges searching the riverbanks at night, priests chanting purification rites, and a young prince who never returned, a mystery polished into myth. Yet not all scandals unfolded in silence. The Emerald Consort Affair, one of the most sensational buried episodes, involved a royal consort whose beauty was said to rival the lotus blooms of Iothra's sacred ponds. But her rise was steeped in controversy. Her family, wealthy spice traders, allegedly brokered under-the-table deals with palace guards to grant her access to royal ceremonies. When she became the king's favorite, resentment grew. Several palace maids disappeared mysteriously after confronting her influence. Eventually, she herself vanished from all official portraits, erased so thoroughly that only foreign visitors' journals confirmed she ever existed. Iothra's palace was also home to the Forbidden Wing, a secluded structure historians were never allowed to enter. According to surviving servant testimonies, this wing housed relatives considered unfit for public recognition, children born with disabilities, unwanted second cousins, or politically inconvenient in-laws. They lived out their lives behind silk screens, denied titles, and mentioned nowhere in the royal genealogy. After a devastating earthquake collapsed part of the structure, the monarchy ordered the remaining chambers sealed. Modern archaeologists petitioned for access, but the Royal Council denied all requests, claiming the wing's history would confuse the public narrative. One of the palace's most complicated cover-ups involved a forbidden romance between Princess Kamala and a young scholar from the countryside. Their relationship violated every rule. He lacked noble blood, and she was betrothed to a powerful general. Letters between the two, discovered centuries later in a hidden monastery chest, describe a love strong enough to challenge tradition. But when palace spies uncovered their secret meetings, The scholar was exiled overnight. Princess Kamala later disappeared from official records, believed to have been sent to a remote convent. Her story became a symbol of love lost to politics. Even the royal monks, revered as spiritual guardians, became entangled in the palace's shadowy dealings. A forbidden manuscript, rumored to contain prophecies describing the fall of the monarchy, was said to have been hidden within their temple archives. After several monks leaked portions of the manuscript, warning of an internal betrayal, the palace intervened. The monks were forcibly relocated, the temple sealed, and the manuscript allegedly burned, though copies circulated secretly among revolutionaries decades later. The monarchy claimed the text never existed, but its influence shaped several uprisings that followed. In the courtyard of Iothra, storytellers recall the strange case of the sleepless king. Suffering from chronic paranoia, the king allegedly ordered his guards to rotate every hour, convinced that someone in his circle planned to poison him. Palace physicians recorded his declining mental state, but official historians rewrote these records, painting him as a wise ruler whose insomnia stemmed from devotion to the well-being of his people. Yet the testimonies of former attendants reveal a man haunted by guilt, endlessly pacing the corridors, muttering about the ghosts of those wrongfully punished under his rule. The Chronicle fire remains one of the most suspicious disasters in Iothra's history. A blaze consumed the royal library, home to centuries of records, diaries, scandals, and treaties. The government claimed it was sparked by faulty oil lamps, but many scholars dispute this. Eyewitnesses reported seeing soldiers removing crates from the building hours before the fire. Several chroniclers who questioned the incident later disappeared, their works confiscated. With the destruction of the library, large portions of the kingdom's true history vanished, allowing the palace to rebuild its narrative free of contradicting evidence. Perhaps the most whispered legend concerns a hidden daughter, a girl said to have been born to the king and a commoner. Only a handful of servants knew of her existence, and she was raised outside the palace to avoid conflict over succession. A traveling healer once claimed to have treated a child whose features resembled the royal family. Yet before she could expose the truth, she vanished without a trace. Today, some elders claim the hidden daughter's descendants live among the people, unaware of their own royal blood, a possibility the palace has always denied. Iothra's royal guard, often portrayed as symbols of loyalty, also carried their own secrets. For decades, they operated a covert unit known as the Silent Blades, trained to carry out discreet missions that protected the monarchy's reputation. Whether it was silencing scandalous witnesses, retrieving compromising documents, or intimidating rebellious nobles, their presence was felt but never proven. Only after a retired guard published coded memoirs did historians begin piecing together the unit's existence. The palace dismissed the memoir as fiction, yet its eerie accuracy continues to trouble scholars who believe the Silent Blades performed the kingdom's darkest deeds. The monarchy's relationship with foreign powers also bred controversy. When a Western empire sought to establish trade, the royal court negotiated secret agreements, granting them exclusive rights to precious timber. The people of Iothra, unaware of these hidden concessions, later suffered as forests vanished and local communities lost their resources. The scandal erupted only after a foreign diplomat leaked fragments of the original treaty. The monarchy responded by accusing the diplomat of forgery, but international archives confirmed its authenticity. The kingdom's attempt to rewrite the scandal only deepened distrust among its citizens. The story of Prince Jirawat, the brother of the reformist king Samudra, remains one of the most emotionally charged tragedies. Jirawat, outspoken and idealistic, pushed for commoner representation in government, a radical view for the time. Within months, he died mysteriously for what the palace called a sudden illness. Physicians who treated him insisted he was poisoned, but their testimonies were quickly suppressed. Statues of Jirawat were removed, his speeches destroyed, and his supporters exiled. Only generations later did declassified documents hint at an internal conspiracy to silence a prince who threatened the traditional hierarchy. Another buried scandal involved the Saffron Rebellion, a mass protest led by monks who denounced the monarchy's lavish spending amid widespread famine. Despite their peaceful demonstrations, the palace responded with overwhelming force. Monasteries were burned, monks arrested, and temples stripped of their influence. Official records reframed the rebellion as a misguided act of disloyalty, but villagers preserved the truth through songs and folk tales passed down over centuries. These oral accounts describe monks protecting civilians, shielding grain supplies, and sacrificing themselves to prevent further suffering, contradicting the sanitized version taught in schools. Iothra's royal astrologers, once vital to state decisions, were at the center of a scandal that nearly toppled the court. After predicting an omen signaling the collapse of the dynasty, they were accused of treason. Yet secret letters show they were manipulated by rival nobles who forged astrological charts to influence political outcomes. The astrologers were imprisoned, their works confiscated, and a new group of compliant seers appointed. Some believe the forged prophecy prompted decisions that weakened the kingdom for decades, proving how powerful superstition could be when twisted by political ambitions. Even palace architecture holds hidden stories. Beneath the royal residence lies a network of tunnels once used as escape routes during invasions. Later discoveries show the tunnels also served as secret meeting points for conspirators plotting to overthrow the monarchy. One chamber contained murals depicting a royal child crying behind bars, a mural no artisan can confess a painting. After the tunnels were uncovered by restoration workers, the palace ordered them sealed again. Their existence contradicts the official narrative that the monarchy was always secure and beloved, revealing a history of fear and internal instability. During the kingdom's Golden Festival era, a scandal involving counterfeit donations tarnished the royal charity's reputation. Wealthy courtiers funneled money meant for hospitals into private estates. When auditors uncovered the scheme, palace officials suppressed a report and reassigned the auditors to remote provinces. Years later, villagers found unmarked graves believed to belong to whistleblowers who disappeared during that time. Although the monarchy publicly launched new philanthropic initiatives, distrust lingered, especially among rural communities who felt abandoned. Even today, elders recall the scandal as a turning point that exposed the palace's vulnerability. One of the most chilling stories concerns the Whispering Oracle, a blind medium once revered for her visions. She allegedly predicted a future in which a child of forgotten branch would reclaim the throne. Rumors spread that she was referring to the hidden daughter's bloodline. The palace detained the oracle, accusing her of inciting rebellion. She died under mysterious circumstances, and her shrine was demolished. Yet locals claim her final prophecy survived through coded chants recited during secret gatherings, fueling generations of speculation about a lineage the palace desperately wanted erased. The kingdom's decline accelerated when a series of unexplained deaths struck the royal council. Each death was reported as natural, yet palace staff whispered about poisoned tea, tampered medicines, and shadows slipping across rooftops at night. Foreign diplomats expressed concern over the instability, but the monarchy insisted everything was under control. Later analyses of court physician notes suggest symptoms consistent with slow-acting toxins. Historians now believe a power struggle within the council triggered a silent civil war, one so deeply buried that only educated guesses remain about its true scale. The final scandal occurred during the era of Restoration, when the monarchy attempted to modernize its image. Young royals traveled abroad, adopting progressive ideas about governance and equality, but traditionalists within the palace saw this as a threat. Several reformist royals were quietly cut off from public duties, their speeches censored, and their foreign partnerships dissolved. One prince was rumored to have sought asylum after receiving threats. Official announcements portrayed these absences as voluntary retreats, but leaked correspondence revealed desperate pleas for protection, proving the palace still struggled to balance tradition with change. As decades passed, the monarchy attempted to rebuild trust by unveiling curated exhibitions of its history. Yet many artifacts displayed were replicas, and key documents remained sealed for national security. Scholars pushing for transparency found themselves denied entry to archives or accused of undermining unity. Meanwhile, villagers continued preserving forbidden stories through bedtime tales, festival performances, and coded poems. These grassroots narratives became a quiet form of resistance, ensuring the kingdom's buried scandals lived on despite the palace's constant efforts to rewrite them. Today, the kingdom of Iothra presents itself as a symbol of cultural pride and resilience. But beneath the surface, historians continue piecing together the fragments the monarchy tried to erase. Every uncovered letter, song, mural, or diary entry adds weight to the truth hidden for centuries. The palace's curated version of history still dominates public education, but the digital age has empowered ordinary citizens to share forgotten accounts. The struggle between the official narrative and the people's memory remains ongoing, an invisible battleground shaping Iotha's identity. In the end, the true history of Iotha lies not in royal archives, but in the memories of its people. The scandals of monarchy buried reveal a timeless truth: power fears accountability. Yet as long as stories survive, whispered through generations, etched in forbidden manuscripts, woven into folk songs, the past can never be fully erased. These scandals, once hidden in the shadows, now illuminate the kingdom's journey, reminding us that even behind the grandest palaces, humanity's flaws endure. And sometimes, the tales they want forgotten become the ones we remember most.